Alrighty. What is cracking? What's up, Glinnesa?
Hey, how are you?
I am good. I think I'm a little too high. All right.
Okay.
All right. Echo. I hear the echo. Did it
Nope.
come back?
My
Okay.
TV
the
was
TV,
on.
got it. All right, got it.
So
Yep,
it's
got
on
it.
mute now.
All right, all good. We are back in business. What's cracking, fam? You know the deal. Y'all know the drill. So whoever is on and watching, because I see y'all watching, coming through, popping in, let us know in the comments. We're going to have a productive, professional show today.
It's going to be fun, too. You don't have to be, professional. Doesn't necessarily mean boring.
I mean, you're all attorney speak. I got to make sure. So I got to put on my banker hat. We can do our attorney and banker hat role today.
Not the banker hat.
I don't think we'll have a lot of watchers. They'll start dropping off. Me and you get together. We start talking real estate laws, banking, real estate purchase laws. They'll be like, all right, I'm done. I didn't come here for this. What's going on?
Nah, it's going to be fun. And people have an opportunity to ask those questions, those burning questions that they've been wanting to ask. And
that's it. I think it's going to be
didn't have
show.
an opportunity.
I am excited. Paul says, didn't I just see one of you? Paul Duncan?
Maybe. Don't shout us out like that.
Maybe. So listen, I didn't want to say anything. And who else is on? What's going on? What's up, y'all? How are you? If you guys are watching from Facebook, y'all already know. Come through on YouTube so we can see the cool avatars. Most importantly, so I can see your names. And we can interact with you guys directly. And then let us know, because I see some of y'all are watching. Let me know in the comments who is here so we can say hello and get this party going. But listen to this. I'm gonna lower the music a little bit. So I like to ride. And speaking of which, you haven't been paying attention to your Apple Watch, because I sent you a competition invite.
I accepted it yesterday. Yes.
All right, well, I haven't checked all of that yesterday. So let me tell you.
See, you're about to come for all of my edges.
I was going to come in. You saw I leaned in.
I can lean in too.
Oh, hey, you gonna do the lean in, and Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie. Que lo que, manito, what's going on? How are you? Thank you for coming through. David Hunt, what's up, David? How are you?
I have seen all of these people in the last, 2 hours?
The last 2 hours.
Yes.
Well, they are excited. I know I spoke to Sylvia and Andrew right before I was talking to you.
Oh,
before
love
you came
Sylvia.
through.
She did these bomb bags for my travel business. Yeah. Oh my God. Everybody loved them. So I have to do her shout out. I'm just so behind with, with everything, but it's good, blame the time of the day, not my heart.
Yeah. That's all right. So I was riding on Monday, riding my bike, and it was a really good bike ride. The weather was perfect. The sun was great. I was feeling really good. I took some pictures with the new iPhone of, in the bridge on the Jersey side. I had just crossed the Ben Franklin Bridge. Made it back home, actually. I was maybe 5 minutes away from my route. And so in Philly, they still have like cable cars out in Philly. And so there's in-ground tracks. My wheel got caught up on a track. I fell again, because apparently this is what India does on her bike. I fell and I slammed my body slammed really, really hard on my left shoulder. I ended up tearing a ligament. I was on the ground for a minute.
Ouch.
I tore the ligament back here, which then separated the ligament up front. Listen, I was stressed out. I had to go see. So I really thought, I knew it wasn't broken, but I thought I had a hairline fracture. So I went to the urgent care to do an X-ray. They confirmed, and then I had to see an orthopedic doctor the next day. He was like, well, no activity for 3 weeks. I said, come again? I can't ride my bike. He looked at me. I was like, well, how about I ride indoors? He was like, yeah, you can ride indoors. So I went out and immediately brought an indoor trainer. And so for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be riding indoor. No, those are expensive. I wasn't ready. So I was thinking about it. Listen, this was totally unexpected. Don't come for me. We just started the show. Don't come. You're lucky that we can't be, I got to be professional and introduce you.
I'm sorry, I'm snatching my pearls on this. You just spent like $5,000 on your bike, but a Peloton that just went down in price is too expensive. Okay. Okay.
What is going on, fam? How are you? So thank you for coming through. Today is going to be an amazing show. We have of our Let's Get Live community, Glinnesa, Gailliard. Did I enunciate your last name?
You did perfectly.
Gailliard.
Thank you.
All right, good. All right. Of Gailliard Pichardo, LLP. She is an attorney based out of New York, upstate New York, right, Glinnesa?
Yes.
I was ready.
Albany, New York.
Yes, Albany. I thought it was Albany.
Yep, some of our great creator friends will be here this weekend.
Yeah.
For the People of LiveStreaming conference. Yep. So I'm excited to see everyone.
Yep. So today we are going to have a really good time, as we usually do. But you are going to talk all things business from an attorney's perspective. And of course, how you help business owners, small entrepreneurs, I'm sure larger customers as well, business customers, about their businesses. We're going to talk a good amount about trademarking, because that we got into the conversation when I had Evie on the show a few weeks ago, because her logo and some of her business things that she has going on is trademarked. So you immediately jumped on the comments, right? And you were talking about, this is what I do for my business. And I thought that it was great because, right? So I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at Lewis, Mr. Camera Junkie, right? Lewis, that's his thing, Mr. Camera Junkie. So, I'm going to start calling out all of you guys. Mr. Camera Junkie, is that trademarked? If you have a logo, is that trademarked, right? Like, we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about, 1, what trademarking is, 2, why you would need it, who needs it, and then 3, what the process is. And then within all of that, of course, we're going to have a really good time. We're going to talk about how you help, the small businesses, the businesses in general as a whole, and then all of the other stuff. So I'm going to get into it. And I know I have to make sure you have your legal speak. And then
yes,
I have to
do the standard disclaimer.
The standard disclaimer.
Blah, 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 blah. So,
and then hold on. Before you get into your disclaimer.
Yes, ma'am.
So get into your disclaimer and do your legal speak first. And then also talk about the travel stuff that you do as well. And then we'll get back into it. So now the floor is yours.
Oh, first of all, thank you for having me tonight, India. I really appreciate being here. One of my passions is to help creators like you and everyone here make sure they're legally protected. But I have to do the legal disclaimer. After that, we're going to have a blast. So basically, the disclaimer is this. Yes, I am an attorney. I'm licensed in New York. Anything I say here is for educational purposes only. It does not mean that there's an attorney-client relationship. There's no attorney-client privilege. This is just here to give information, and for your own specific personal information, set up a consultation with myself or another attorney that you may have what's the word I'm looking for? A relationship with. And we can help you with your personal issue. But for right now, everything here is just for educational purposes only. And do not thoroughly follow my advice because everybody's situation is different. So definitely sit with an attorney, and this does not substitute sitting with an attorney. Done.
That was it. That was your legal speak. We're all good. Now we can go to time. We can go to town.
Yes!
Now that's it. Let's go. Let's get wild.
Okay, we can get as wild as trademarks will let us get wild. But trust me.
Right. And I noticed the shirt. I just saw. So your shirt says, "I love." Hold on. Let me go back into it so I can go on you. Go ahead. Do it again. I love trademarks. That's cool. Where'd you get that shirt from?
So there's actually a service that I use to help me track my trademarks that I file called Alt Legal. Shout out to Alt Legal. They had a great whatchamacallit conference last year and this year. Yeah. And so that's all they do. That's all they do is trademark docketing and tracking. And they sent me this wonderful t-shirt because I went to their conference. So you got this, and I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah. So, definitely perfect for today. Absolutely.
Yep. What's up. So so you had a whole agenda.
I did.
For us. So let's hit it.
Well, I wanted to finish saying, so K-Walk, Kathy, the principal, is here. K-Walk, what's cracking? How you doing, K-Walk? And Steve from Scarlet Glass is here. I'm so excited. So Steve, he sent me a little housewarming gift. And you sent me a housewarming gift. Thank you. I love all the stuff you guys got me. Oh my God.
No problem.
My stuff. But I'm commissioning him to draw. And once I get my office cleaned up a little bit, we'll do another tour. But right here is like where the vent is. So it's like a square that kind of comes out. And it's a nice size. And I'm commissioning Steve to do a big piece. It's 40, I think and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, I think it's 4 feet long by 2 feet tall, a stained art glass of the New York City timeline of the Brooklyn Bridge, because you guys know I'm repping Brooklyn all day, Brooklyn. And he sent me a mock-up, and I'm so excited to get it going. It's going to be beautiful. So I just had to give Steve the shout out. And I did see your message earlier, Steve, but you saw I was with my mom, so I'll communicate with you. I'll get that going. All right. All right. So then before we get into the business, trademarking, all of that stuff, tell them a little bit about your other piece of your business with the Traveling Esquire. Yes. Correct? Is that the name? The Traveling
Esquire, so maybe? There's a couple of things I have going on. All right, so as part of Gailliard Pichardo, I also have a niche within that. Not just business law, but there's a specific niche and market that I cater to, which are to travel agents and travel advisors. Why? Because I am one. So there you go. When COVID happened, a lot of my travel advisor friends were like, look, we need to tighten up our businesses legally. Yep. Can you help? Yeah. Sure. And so out of that became Travel Esquired. So it's a lot of the business things, part of what we're going to talk about tonight, where I gear the information toward travel agents. That doesn't mean that if you are a lot of travel agents are content creators. We do videos, we go live, we do photos, we do a whole lot of things on all the internet streets. And trying to see them and help them understand that bridge. Yep. You know, just because you are a travel agent, you're also a content creator. Yep. You may be a content creator just in the travel sphere, and that's okay. But you're creating content all the time in order to market yourself. Yep. So you have to protect that legally, and that's where Travel Esquire came from. So even if you follow my channel, which is Travel Esquire, as a business and you're not a travel agent, there's still information there for you because it is business oriented, because before you're a travel agent, you're a business owner first. Before you're a content creator, you're a business owner first. And so all of this information, it may not be geared towards your industry, but there's all nuggets there. Yeah. That will help you as you grow your business, especially as you're solopreneur, entrepreneur, whateverpreneur you wish to call yourself.
all of that. Goodness. There you go. All right. Awesome. So let's see. Where do I want to start? I guess let's start since we went into it. And so guys, you guys know the drill. Of course, we're going to have a good time. But definitely, and I know that there were a handful of you guys interested. Steve, you came on. Well, at least you logged on a little bit later. You left a comment. So I'm not sure if you heard about the intro, what I'm going to be doing, and really making sure that I call you guys out, this time to hold you guys accountable, that I know for a fact that you really have your own businesses and you're doing your own things, like really making money, right, off of whatever it is. So like Steve, you have Scarlet Glass. I know that that's your business. is your logo trademarked? Is the name of your business trademarked, right? So every time I see one of my friends on here that I'm like, listen, have you spoken to an attorney? Did you review all of that stuff? Because that's what we're here for, to support each other. So I wanted to make sure I plug that. What is going on? Gary, how are you? Thank you for coming through. Shayna, hi, darling. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much for supporting. Shayna, definitely for you, because I know that you have your business. And I don't know the name of it, but I know that you're active because I follow you on social media and all of the things that you're doing. And of course, thank you for your service, Shayna. I appreciate you. So I'm glad that you tuned in early for this one. Charles Jackson, was cracking, brother. Charles, let me know what you think of my studio. And I have another camera angle, but I want to make sure I stop talking and get Gigi starting to talk. So, because y'all know I can talk forever. So, trademarking. What is it?
Okay. So trademarking is basically the best way that I can describe it is you having your intellectual property. Yeah. So it's sort of like your you think of real property where you're talking about you actually have a land, you have house or a building on the land, and that land belongs to you. Yep. Same premise, just intellectually. So it's out there in the world. This is your piece of the world that tells people who you are and a way to identify who you are. For instance, you have this little thing, Google. All right. Yep. You see the little logo here. That's, Google's trademarked, whatever. You see that, that's Google.
Right.
So anything out there, like same thing with Apple, you see the little Apple symbol on a phone, which most of us have and have upgraded.
Yeah.
And that's Apple. And that's just a way for people to know out in these streets who you are, how to identify you, what your brand is. Right. And it's a way for other people to not infringe on that brand.
Okay.
Do you want me to go into that?
I was literally, that's a good, So let's talk about it, right? So why would that be detrimental to your business? How can that hinder you if they're infringing on your brand? And then I guess let's peel the onion back. And you got me, you got me talking all banker sales speak, peel the onion a little bit. So let's start with really in simplifying it. What does it mean to infringe upon that? And how is it detrimental to your business?
So infringing means that you're taking somebody's idea and using it as your own. Okay. So when you trademark a brand, whether it be your logo or the name of your company, because those are two different marks, and we can go into that a little bit later.
Yep.
When you trademark that, you're saying to the world, this is how I want you to identify my business, by this logo and or this name.
Yep.
And if somebody comes in, now with that, you're building it up through your marketing, through your client, through your Google reviews, your Facebook reviews, whatever it is that you're doing to build recognition around your brand.
Yep.
All of that hard work, and we talk about that all the time, your hard work, all of that hard work means something.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes in and says, oh, India, I see, you say all the time, I'm the only India Delgado on YouTube. Like, that is amazing branding. You know what I mean? And if somebody else comes in and says, well, I'm the only India Delgado on YouTube, and that's not true, they're infringing on your brand.
Right.
And now you have this following, and people think that that's you.
Right.
So all of your hard work is now going to somebody else who's literally riding your coattails and getting all of the recognition that comes with it.
Okay, so we're going to pause right there because that was like amazing information and lots of good information. So I want to make sure that you're going to be dropping a lot of knowledge, dropping a lot of really good nuggets. And as you drop those nuggets and you share this information, I want to make sure that we can stop at each point and really emphasize a lot of the stuff. And I feel like with this conversation, I'm about to pull out my Post-its, right? And start and
Not
right.
the Post-its.
So, listen, the Post-its are important, okay? They get me. I love my Post-its.
Between you and Diana and the Post-its, the things never stay on my screen. I find them all over my desk, which is not helpful.
That's funny.
So I just gave up on Post-its.
You gave up on Post-its. All right. So, and you started, I was about to say it, and then you kind of went into it, right? The brand recognition. And that's, I think, huge. And we do that naturally, the solopreneurs, the way you mentioned, the entrepreneurs, content creators. Even if you don't consider yourself, I don't want to say with this aspect, right? Like I definitely am a content creator, but I don't think that I'm far enough yet to say that it's my business just yet. I'm still, for me, I would say right now, I consider my business what I do with the first time home buyer, financial literacy, right? Like that's a little bit more of my business. And not to say that content creation won't be my business in the future. And with what you're saying, although it may not be my business now, I'm already marketing myself. I'm already building, I have been for the last year, marketing myself and building my own brand recognition with one of two things. So you said one, the only India Delgado that you can find on YouTube. And then the other thing, all of you guys know, like we can go through the comments. You guys say hello to me. And how do you say hello to me? Everybody's like, what's cracking, right? Yeah. Like that's what it is. And that's my brand. I have Press and So they made me the shirts, and usually I wear the shirts, and I have the shirts that say you're right across from it. And that's the brand recognition. You guys in Let's Get Live know if we put that means someone's addressing something with India. You're saying hello to me, right? And so that's huge, because exactly with how we started this segment, it's the infringement. And so if I go and I start my following, Mr. Camera Junkie, he has his following, right? Like Scarlet Glass, like all of us, I'm looking, and again, it's just even with our thumbnails, all of us have some sort of logo, brand recognition, marketing, something that we hold near and dear to ourselves that make us unique. That's a way to represent ourselves. And the last thing that you want is for someone to say, I like that idea, and now replicate it, and now you're in a whole nother mess, right? So really good stuff. Let's go through some comments. So Charles did say intellectual property, we definitely need more knowledge in this area. So people are already excited. Lee, what's going on? Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. CK's Antics, Lee. What's up? How are you, Tan? Yes, right. You tuned
knowledge bomb.
On such a knowledge bomb. Like, right. And CK, I haven't seen you. I mean, we follow each other on Twitter and stuff like that, and we're both running around, but I'm so happy to see you here. And you definitely tuned in on a really, really good evening. So exciting. If it ends with a Q, what? If it ends with a Q, it should start with a Q. Yes, thank you, Paul. Yes. Y'all know I got
He's on it.
Right, he is on it. I'll be having to read the comments twice. Paul is usually the one saying no, India. You read that backwards. Oh, damn it. You're right. So cool. Thanks, Paul. He is on it. So definitely you want to make sure you guys know the drill. If you have any questions, please put any questions, any comments, anything that you want us to dive deeper into. Leave them. If it's a question, start it with a Q so that I can star it and then make sure that Glinnesa and we see it and we go back to it. Lee is saying that's how I feel about the post. Super gems already. That's what's up. How are you? All right. So I think with that, so we talked about infringement.
Yes.
And we talked about, right, like what trademarking is. You talked about why. Anything else you want to add into any of that stuff before we get into the house? What else can you add about that?
Well, another thing I would like to add is, and go into a little bit deeper what trademarking is, because I sort of glossed over it.
Yeah.
But we need to make sure everybody understands that not everything can be trademarked. Even though something is your brand, not everything is trademarkable, for lack of a better term. And I put that in air quotes. For instance, if something is descriptive, that's not something that can be trademarked.
Descriptive like what?
So, okay, let's go back to our handy dandy trusted Apple phone, right?
Yep.
So let's say that Apple decided that they wanted to be a fruit company.
Yep.
Called Apple.
Yeah.
Of course, as a fruit company, Apple is one of the things that they're going to sell. So that's more of descriptive and describing what they do versus distinctive. Whereas We have this handy dandy iPhone.
Yeah.
We have Macs. We have MacBooks. We have all types of different computers and peripherals made by a company called Apple.
Yep.
That's distinctive because there's absolutely no relation between an Apple and computers.
Right.
They brought up that brand. They made that brand. So now it's a household name.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they put in the work to build that brand. But it's much different than you having a fruit stand called Apple.
Okay.
That's one of the things. And also it has to be used in commerce. So you mentioned it a little bit a while ago that you're not really using it as your business. You're still building your brand. But once you hit and start doing it as your business, boom, trademark. So you have an opportunity to now trademark your brand.
Yep.
You know, so that's the other thing you have to look at. Are you using it in commerce? If this is just a hobby, not so much. But if you're using it in commerce, if you're using it as a business and to trademark, you can either do it by state or federally. Federal, you have better protections, of course. But to do it federally, you have to be going over state lines. Meaning if you're based out of Albany, New York, like I am.
Yep.
But we're on YouTube. This is worldwide.
That's what I was going to say. So what about us? Because we're content creators and we do like, we're all digital, right? So that's
exactly.
Then. Right, exactly. All right. Very cool. So all right, more again, segmenting everything. You spoke about descriptive versus distinctive.
Distinctive, right.
So understanding the difference between the two, and making sure. So distinctive, I'm just trying to think, and I can't, I haven't come up with anything, I guess, to really make it easier to remember by, but distinctive obviously is unique, right?
Exactly.
I guess that's the easiest thing, right? Distinctive is going to be unique to what you're doing and why it makes you versus maybe something common sense, right? Because like a fruit stand, Apple, like there's that, right? That's that common connection where cell phones, the way you're saying, people are not going to give that. That's a distinct thing of, okay, so like even with, I don't know, Nike, the watch, whatever that is, right? Like it's distinctive of this belongs to this brand and this is the reason why it belongs. Is that I don't know, I feel like I'm talking.
No, you're actually right. And it's hard to sometimes think, but think about when you think of distinct, you think of different. Think of something outside of the box.
Yep.
Think of something that's not, you wouldn't relate X with Y.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Versus descriptive, meaning I'm just describing. So adjective.
I like that.
I'm just describing what it is.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yep. So if I'm going saying I want to, I'm looking at a Nest thermostat and instead of calling it Nest, it's called thermostat. I'm describing what it is. It's not anything different about that. It's a thermostat. That's what it does. It takes temperature of your room. It tells you it's too hot or too cold, whatever.
Gotcha. Yep.
That's the way to think about it. And, it's very, and there's shades of gray in there too.
Yeah.
I'm just going from one edge to the other, but there's so much shades of gray in there. But that's where the attorney comes in because they can take a look at what your product and your services are.
Yeah.
Look at what industries you're selling those products and or services and help you say to you, look, I'm not sure if this is going to pass muster. Yeah. Let's think about what that looks like or maybe changing or tweaking it a little bit.
Right.
Or saying, yo, this is bomb. Let's go.
Right,
you know what I mean? And I have customers who I've said that to. I was like, yo, I love your idea. I love your concept. This is just fire. I am honored that you chose me to help you with this. Let's do it.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Steve, I see your comment and your question. I'm going to get to it. I just wanted to talk a little bit more. So then the second piece with this segment that you mentioned was that it has to be used in commerce. Right. So now, what will classify that? Because I don't. So it's not that I haven't under like with what I do, right? And let's say remote production, I have taken on 2 jobs under it. And I do have a tax ID, right? It's just for me, I'm like, it's not a job because it's all of 2021 and all of, we're 10 months in. I've just done 2 jobs, right? Like I've charged 2 clients. I've just charged 2 jobs. So what do we consider then commerce? What's that, I guess, baseline for that?
Are you selling it?
Not actively.
But are you selling it? Have
Yes.
you had a sale? Then
Yes.
it's in commerce.
And if somebody reaches out to me tomorrow and says, India, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Yes. So yeah, it is for sale. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have that. See, being in commerce doesn't mean you have to be profitable. It just means that it's out there for sale. And then when somebody at the Trademark and Patent Office goes to look for it, they can find it and say, hey, she is selling it. That's it.
So how would they find it? That's another good question.
You would have to market it, period. Usually through your websites. If you're like, for people who have, who make things, Etsy, those types of places, if you are selling it, you have to show that you're selling it. So if it's clothing, you'll have your tags, you'll show what your tags are, how much it is. For services like we're doing here, you have your YouTube channel. Let's just use content creators. Everybody uses, they either monetize their YouTube or they use Buy Me a Coffee. Take Doc and Diana's group.
Right. Yeah.
Let's Get Live. Let's Get Live.
Right.
They have all types of stuff that they're doing out there outside of the YouTube channels that they're doing.
Right.
It's out there. You can find it, and we'll make that connection.
Gotcha. So that's
you just have
perfect.
to have a way of selling it. That's all.
All right. So there you go. And so again, and I think that you definitely, that was a great way to really break it down with even that commerce piece. So, if it's available for sale, even if you're not like me, I'm not actively selling it. And let me not say that. I think I'm describing it wrong. I'm not actively promoting it. It is available for sale. I am available for hire. Now, I don't want to say I'm available for sale because I'm not a piece of meat available for sale. Come on. You're on my show.
I know.
Come on.
I wasn't thinking that until you said something. And then as soon as you said it, I lose all my stuff.
Espérate. Because that if I didn't say it, somebody else would have said it, right? Like, so it's like, especially with these guys, so for me, I'd rather say it than someone else. So so let me get back to it. I'm not actively promoting it. However, people see what I do, and that is and that is how that was a great description, because that is how I've gotten the previous jobs. They've seen the live streams. They've seen how I've produced the shows. They've seen a few other things that I've done on the back end. And then the conversation came up of, India, can you do X, Y, and Z? And I said, yeah, let's have a conversation about it. And then that became a paying job. So if someone were to contact me again tomorrow, then yes, it's probably something that I would take up. So just making sure that there is a product or a service, right? Because what a lot of us do, don't necessarily as content creators, not all of us, but a lot of us have services for sale. So understanding the difference between a tangible product, or are you selling a service which is not tangible, right? But you're still selling something. Whether you're actively promoting it or not, like Chocolate Twist Yoga, that's a service, right? And she's actively promoting it because she does have she obviously has her yoga studio, but she also has the YouTube that now she's been doing, but really cranking
and
down
killing it
on
and
right.
killing
Exactly.
it.
She is really like, go ahead, Kali, but that's an active service that she has out there. So definitely Chocolate Twist Yoga, that we all know who Kali is. Chocolate Twist Yoga, that should be trademarked, right? And that's considered for commerce. You're in commerce. I feel like there was something else that I wanted to add on there. You had said, but you hit the nail on the head, because for me, that was the other question for us as content creators. Well, how do we prove that it's for sale? But exactly that. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have some sort of service, whether it's a Buy Me a Coffee that is an offering this for this. You pay me this, and in return, I'm going to give you that. So is that a good way? Was that a good recap? I'm just trying to paraphrase.
No, you are.
My paraphrasing skills.
You are. And so the thing about it is with social media, a lot of people, I know YouTube is always the first to get in the game, but a lot of other places like Instagram and other places are now allowing you to monetize your channel. Yeah. So, by being able to monetize your channel, that's a great way to show that you're in commerce. But you also have to, for YouTube, you have to have, 1,000 views or 1,000
followers? Right, so it's 1,000 subscribers, right? Because I'm not monetized on YouTube just yet. You have to have 1,000 subscribers.
But you have Buy Me a Coffee.
I do have Buy Me a Coffee, exactly.
You're monetized. Right. You just monetize. You just not monetized platform. Using the So that's another way to show that you're in commerce because you're monetizing your YouTube channel in a different way other than just using YouTube to monetize your channel.
Yep, perfect.
It just has to be for sale. It doesn't have to be for sale using that platform. It just has to be for sale.
All right. So this is great stuff. Kali came through. What's going on, Kali? How are you?
Hey, Kali.
And then, of course, Paul says, just don't be selling on my street corner. All right, girl.
And if she is.
Right, like, hello. And we do got some questions. So I am going to get to now Steve's question. I saw that David Hunt put a question. I think I'll read Kali's question. And then Facebook user, before I get to Steve's question, Facebook user said Q, but I didn't get the rest. So Facebook user, either finish your question. Finish your question.
I just want to respond with A.
Right, exactly. Wait, do I have a ticker? Hold on. I think I have a ticker here. Wait, I don't have the ticker. Darn it. But that would have been good for the ticker. But yeah, so either finish the question if that was meant to be a question or just come through on YouTube. So now let me get back to the question. So we're going to go into Steve's question first. So Steve says, what is the distinction between common use versus copyright? Run into this question all the time in stained glass. And then he said, or fair use versus copyright.
So this is a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Fair use is mainly dealing with your own personal use. For instance, if I am taking something, so let's also go into the difference between a trademark and a copyright too, because that distinction needs to be made. So starting out, the difference between a copyright and a trademark is your trademark is more, think of your brand. Yeah. Think of who you are, how you want the world to see you. Yeah. Copyright is dealing with your written and artistic works. So for instance, if you're a course creator, right? You can get your courses copyrighted, even if they're videos.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because they're your work.
Yeah.
Same thing, you think of books, copyrighted. You can get blog posts copyrighted now. That's came up since 2020. That's a newer phenomenon that you can get your blog post copyrighted as well. So those are just your artistic expression. I believe your intro music is music you did. That's copyrightable.
Yep.
Or able to be copyrighted, I should say.
Right.
But now that we know the difference between brand and artistic works, now let's look at fair use. Okay. Because a lot of people, I'm trying to be nice when I say this, but I'm just going to, it's your show, so I'm going to do what I got to do.
Hello, what's wrong?
A lot of people are out in these internet streets stealing people's stuff. Period. And it is, it like these Facebook, whatever, they don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Right.
Don't care.
Right.
And then when you say something to them, well, it's not copyrighted. How do you know? Because the only way you know is if you look for the registration. That means that you meant to take their stuff. So you and I got problems anyway.
Right.
Be that as it may.
Yeah.
Fair use is mainly for your own personal use. So I'm taking this Apple product and I may do a write-up about Apple products or whatever.
Yep.
Even though, you know what I mean, my write-up may be a review of that Apple product, which a lot of people do on YouTube. They do reviews, they do unboxing. That's all considered fair use. But their opinions about that product is copyrightable.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's more like fair use.
Yep.
However, if you're trying to sell that item as if it's your own, or for instance, for music, that's the biggest thing right now.
Yep.
The takedowns are happening because people are using music on their channels that they don't have a license to.
Yep. And so David, so that's a perfect segue. David Hunt, he plays the piano. And so he's been now more consistently in the morning doing his morning meditations of playing the piano. Really cool mornings with Dave. He'll put the camera and things like that on it, and he'll talk a little bit onto the screen. So that's a perfect segue, because his question was, I play covers for, what's happening? Covers of songs for a regular. Do you have any advice on fair use in this situation?
So that one will require a consultation and me actually looking at what he does, because I can't, based on that question, it depends.
Yeah.
Which is the typical lawyer answer, which people hate, but it does. It totally depends.
Yep.
So that's something that would be a little bit, need to be delved into a little bit more.
Yep.
But again, it depends. But if you take a Beyonce song and play it without a cover, you're definitely going to get in trouble unless you have a license that gives you permission to play that song on your channel.
Yep.
So you just have to be very careful with how you use different things. Like, for instance, I'm going to totally nerd out. I watch anything Marvel.
Okay.
And then I do the conspiracy theories on YouTube.
Okay.
What I watch. I watch you, I watch Doc, I watch Diana, and I watch my conspiracy theories.
Okay, good.
Marvel, how they interpret the different Marvel movies and whatever. That's me.
Yeah.
So the fact that
like how they're all related in the Easter eggs, and like it's like, did you know like this? And then it's like, I got you. Okay, yes.
And I interpret this to happen.
Right.
Wait, but they pulled from way back in Iron Man.
Right.
The first
so you
one.
knew you were gonna make this movie 20 years later or something. I got you. Yes, totally.
Right. Mind blown. It's like, wait. Okay.
Right. Yep.
So funny. Yes. So, but think about it. They're using Marvel all over the place.
Correct.
But a lot of those channels are sponsored. A lot of those channels are, whatchamacallit? They're sponsored by, they have various sponsors. I look at that, I'm like, y'all making some bank here.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that they have some type of Marvel, because they're replaying snippets of the movies, they're replaying snippets of everything.
Right.
And so they have some type of deal with Marvel.
Right.
In order to
I'm
do
sure that Marvel, they've got, to protect themselves, right? There's some sort of agreement, and there's disclosures within those agreements to say what they can do, what they can't, how much maybe they can. Yeah, absolutely. And so I see, our Facebook user is one of my friends. Because it's a question about a nonprofit. So those of you guys, I want you to know I am looking. Thank you so much for putting cues in front of your questions. I'm starring them. So like that, I can go back into the favorites and I can review the questions. So I am going to answer all of your questions. I don't want you to think that because they might get lost in the comments. So just stick with us because it's really, really, really good stuff. Michelle from LBC Branding came through.
Hey,
what's up,
Michelle.
sis? How are you, Michelle? What's going on?
Love me some Michelle.
Yes, Michelle's amazing. Michelle, are you trademarked? Because Michelle has quite a few businesses. So Michelle, if you are not trademarked, I'm glad you're here. Get on it, girl. Richard, what's cracking? How are you? My brother was coming through. What's going on? Shayna appreciated you saying hashtag internet streets in these internet streets. Let me see. All right. So I wanted to give another example, and because now I'm like all things cycling, right? So just going back to the fair use, again, for me to try to paraphrase and break it down and simplify it. So I saw a post on one of the cycling pages where, and not just necessarily cycling, because a lot of now, like artists, I'm sure you've seen, they'll take a pair of Air Force Ones and customize them. That's gotten big in the last 5 or 6 years, right? So you can see custom kicks. So for those of you guys that are sneakerheads, they'll pick up Jordans, they'll pick up Air Force Ones, whatever it is, even Skechers, Converse, and they will make them, right, works of art, but then they'll sell them. So now,
well, you see my cycling sneakers that I got customized.
Right. So now I think that that's a really good example, because there was a pair of Mont Ranger, which is Trek Brands, shoes that someone went and bought and had customized, but they customized these shoes to look like Nike cycling shoes. And they legit, and they put the Nike logo on them, and they showed the sole. So the sole said Mont Ranger on the inside. And this looked like, and I wish I would have known that this would have come up, because this would have been great to visualize, to show you guys the post.
I see it in my head. I'm very visual.
So now, but check it out.
He made himself a pair of Fikes. Got it.
Yes, and they were dope. They were like a Usain Bolt type of limited. They were a replica of, it was either Usain Bolt or Kobe's. They were dope, and the artwork was official. And of course, the posts immediately, the comments immediately said, "Isn't that considered copyright infringement?" And I was like, oh, that's a really good, because you got to be careful if you're selling them. And so I'm going through, because now it's like you want to eat popcorn. And you know how we all get lost in these internet streets of all the drama, right? So I'm scrolling, reading the comments, and I'm like, that's a good point. Oh, but that's a really good point. So this is me scroll, right? And then someone else said, if he is not actively selling them, so if he bought them and customized them and maybe sold one pair, then it would be all right. However, all right, so I'm just telling you what I'm reading the post. He said, however, if he starts selling them and, goes for sale, we said a service for sale, Nike can come after him and give him a cease and desist. So talk a little bit about that, because I think that, is that what you were trying to say with the fair use? In those, and then you mentioned
it's for personal
lies.
use. So
go ahead.
Yes, he made himself a pair of Fikes, because I'm not going to get past that. Sorry, just not.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, they're all for his personal use.
Right.
So he bought the sneakers and he had them customized.
Yeah.
So the original pair, I can't remember the name of the original maker of the shoe, but he gave them their homage, gave them their money, and got someone to customize them for him for his use. This is a loaded question. Here's why. The person who got them customized is totally fine if it's for his use.
Right.
But the person who customized them and put Nike symbol on them and sell the customization is now
liable. Yes.
Is now infringing, because he
even
doesn't,
if it's one pair. Even if he
we don't know if
pair.
it's one pair. We don't know if it's one pair. We know we know it's his pair. But we don't know if it's one pair. And that's the thing. So if he's customizing and putting logos of other whatchamacallits on them, right?
Yeah.
Then that's a problem.
Yeah.
So for my sneakers, and I think I showed you pictures of them, I got the Nike Super Reps. And so they were originally a bright green.
Yeah.
And so if people don't know, you're going to know now. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Hey.
And so my sneakers are pink and green.
Yeah.
And so, but Alpha Kappa Alpha is trademarked.
Okay.
So what's on my sneakers are not Alpha Kappa Alpha. It's my line number and my line name.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
And the colors.
All right. Because you can't
loopholes.
Trademark the colors.
Loopholes.
Right? And my line name's already trademarked because it's part of my business name too. So I can do what I want with my stuff.
Go ahead now. Go ahead, Gigi.
But at the same time, I did not put Alpha Kappa Alpha on there, because even though I'm a member and can use it, I still didn't, because I respect the mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if it is for my personal use, the person who's making it for me, he can get in trouble, because he's not an authorized seller. He's not authorized to use that and put it on my sneakers and sell to me that artwork.
That's good.
That's the issue. And so that's why I won't do that, because I won't put that onus on him. Now, Can he protect himself and say, because, people come and get t-shirts made and whatever.
Yep.
But generally the difference is that they're bringing the artwork to that maker.
Yep.
So then you have to say, well, if you're doing t-shirts and things of that nature, you should have some type of contract that says you attest that you are bringing me original artwork or artwork which you have permission to replicate before I make this shirt, this bag, whatever article of clothing you want me to make. But because his artwork was going to be custom, I'm not bringing to him the work. He's doing it out of his own artistic expression. I can't tell him to do Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Gotcha. That is good stuff. All right, so let's get back to some questions. Good stuff. And we got a good amount of viewers. So people came through for you
how many
today.
Do we have? Because, I'm not really...
People came through. Well, there's 22 people actively using
coming through. Hello, all 22 of y'all. And some on Facebook.
Yes, there's some on Facebook. Some of y'all on YouTube. I see one of our Facebook friends, one of my Facebook people, they're on Facebook telling people to come through on YouTube. So I love y'all. I love the family.
I love it.
So this is one of my, they're now friends. I call them my business partners, but anyone who's on my Facebook friend is a legit friend. So I know it's one of my nonprofit friends. And they said, should a nonprofit organization trademark its name? And I think that that's a really good question. So,
well, it's kind of loaded, and it has to go back to getting a consultation. Here's why. It depends. It totally depends. What are you using it for? How are you going to use it? How does that help you? Because a lot of nonprofits are trademarked. United Way. You know what I mean? A lot of them are. So just because you're a not-for-profit doesn't mean that you can't get trademark protection. But you really need to see how trademarking will help you build your business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because one of the things about a business is that trademark and your copyrights are an asset. That means it brings value to your business. Mm-hmm. And so, which makes if you decide to sell your business later, that's an added thing that you can say as part of your sales package. Not only do I have this product and service, not only did I build the brand, but now it's trademark protected, and now I can transfer all of that over to you. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? So all of those things are very important. Yeah. And brings value to your business, but you need to make sure it makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it doesn't make sense, then you don't want to spend the money, because it's not a cheap process, and it's not an easy process, and it's not a quick process.
Yeah.
So if you want to, so sitting down with an attorney who does this, not an attorney who just does business laws and may do trademarks on the side. You want somebody who does trademarks. Even if they do other areas, they have to do trademarks, because they can help guide you through the ins and outs and some of the things you can expect going through the process, and guide you along it. So like I said, it depends. It depends on your goals. It depends on what you're trying to do with the organization. And it depends on if you have the money and the patience to go through the process.
So I want you to know I'm taking advantage of my Post-its, and I did write some questions down. I did write some questions down of things, as you said, that I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask you. But most importantly, I want to make sure I continue with the community and asking their questions. So we're just going to continue to go back. Kali did put a question, and she said, what's the process for getting your content copyrighted? Is it enough to add the creator name and the copyright creator name and date?
No.
Wait. Legit. I'm mad you was like, no. That was funny as hell, because you legit looked at the cut. That is all right. So talk a little bit more about that. That was funny.
I need to learn more tact, but
no, that was good. That was perfect. Listen, you in the right place, honey. You do not need tact, because that is what is all about here in these streets. Go ahead.
Not everything can be copyrighted.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And mainly because of its length, Like for instance, I do a whole lot of like 1-page sheets, mainly for my clients. Whether they be tip sheets, directions, things of that nature.
Yep.
And so those sheets are what's the word I'm looking for? So those sheets are what they call common law, copyrighted by common law. Anything that you do that is an extension of you, that you're not copying from someone, it is your thought, your language, what you're putting down there, has copyright protection.
Yeah.
Same thing with trademarks. But those are common law, which means that you're very limited any type of recovery. So that means if somebody is taking your work verbatim, you have a right to request, if they're on these internet streets, you have a right to request that they, that YouTube, Instagram, what have you, take it down, as long as you can prove that they're actually stealing your work verbatim and infringing on your rights.
Yeah.
And you can send them a cease and desist. But that's basically the extent of your recovery. So putting that down there at the bottom is a great way to note to people that you don't expect people to steal your work. Right. But if that's what they really want to do, they're going to do just it. Are.
Because it's like the pictures, right? Like I see that a lot on the pictures, like photography, not pictures. Let me get a little bit more specific on photography. And that was a big thing. It became, I know that was a big thing, really when Instagram started to pop off, right?
Yep.
When Instagram started to pop off, that was it. People just were taking pictures and, doing photography and street photography and things like that. And then it became, hey, they used my photos without my consent. And it was copyrighted. And it's like, well, like, right? Like you just said, people are going to do what they want to do. And it's like, you can, unless you're a big company like Apple, let's be real, right? Like, unless you're a big company, like, and even at that point, you can have it on. And at that point, if you want to, by the time they give you the cease and they find out, they give you a cease and desist, it gets back to you. And then it becomes, I guess it scares you enough to stop you. How many more followers and fame did you get in the interim? That if you take it down for that cease and desist, you probably accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, right? Like, am I saying that in a good way too, right?
Like, short-term gain for long-term goals, right? But here's the thing, and I wanted to really bring this up. For us content creators, because a lot of us content creators, we're not Apple. You know what I mean? Right. We're not Google. We're not all of these big companies. Like Disney is the one that I love because Disney has no chill on these internet streets. They have gangs of They have gangs of attorneys scouring these social medias, looking like they're sitting there like, I wish a mofo would.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're in the business. Listen, not only are they in the business to like create cartoons and things like that, and make kids happy, they're into business to look for people violating their copyright and doing copyright infringement and violating the terms of their trademark so that they can go. Now, it's so funny that you say that and we talk about that because I know at one point, and I meant to tell my sister to log in, because at one point my sister wanted to be that type of attorney. She wanted to be an attorney that would go and look for people violating, because apparently there's a whole business in that, because you can go into like the books. Correct me if I'm wrong, or like
part of the services that I offer my trademark clients is called monitoring. It's a monitoring service that if somebody's out there, I get a little report or a little ding and I look at it and say, okay, this looks like infringement. Client XYZ, let's talk about what your options are. But Disney has an army of people who does that on the regular. So with that being said, it's like they got the cease and desist letters on fleek, and they're not asking for you just to take it down.
They asking for money.
This is where they're asking for money. And the thing about it is, and here's the thing with protection. So notice I moved back a little bit because I love saying this, because this is going to be the mic drop right here. when you have trademark or copyright protection, not only can I tell you to take it down, I can request any morsel of profit you gained from the time you started infringing until the time you took it down, plus damages, plus attorney's fees. This is why I do what I do, because I love that part. I hate seeing people, and I'm saying it with such passion, out here taking people's hard work that they sit there like, I'm part of this community. And one of the things I will say is that everybody that I've met here works hard. They have content calendars. They have all types of things to bring things to help people grow in whatever it is they wish to help grow. And I hate a thief. So if you're going to come up in here and take other people's stuff because you lack the ingenuity or the wherewithal to work hard and make your own stuff, you deserve all the smoke you're going to get from my firm. Period.
Coño.
So,
dropping knowledge tonight, and people are loving it. We got Kali giving me all the questions, so that's great.
I love Kali. And hi, Ashley. My friend Ashley is on. She's new into YouTube.
Yes.
And so I'm so happy that she's able to come on.
Yes. Welcome, Ashley. And the crew already welcomed her, so we appreciate you. We also have the Educated Natural. Shayna invited her, so welcome to the channel, the Educated Natural. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. And Shayna, of course, thank you, all of you guys, for sharing. I know there was a few of you guys who shared the post and shared the content. I appreciate the support, and of course Gigi appreciates. Kali is being an amazing supporter. I
see. I'm loving it.
Is blowing you up, so she is making sure
Thank you.
Listen, our community is like, y'all up. You know how we do. Okay, that's that. All right, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm looking at the comments that I favorited. I wanted to make sure I gave everyone a welcome and thanked Kali and David and everybody in the community showing love. Steve did say great information. There were a few people. Gary said vital information, so people are really loving it. Let me see. And then Steve did also say Disney is one of the ones that actively searches for infringement, especially from on Etsy. So let me see. Let's see. I'm just coming back. All right. Yes. So let's go back to some of these questions. All right, Kevin, I'm going to get to your question. I know there were a few more people before, so I'm just going to go through. So David had a second part follow-up to his question, I think a little bit more specific. So let me just go back to it, David. I just got to go to my favorites. Okay, so he put, every Friday he plays Ribbon in the Sky by Stevie Wonder because they asked me to during the stream. So, and you had mentioned pretty much, if I remember correctly, you just suggested that was a one-on-one, right? A consult with you?
Yes. All
right. And then Kali, so David, definitely reach out. I've put it up on the screen a few times, and you can see Kali has been doing a great job at putting the contact information. And she did put, because that was one of my questions, is the consult, is there a fee? And she put that
there is a fee.
Okay.
I'm sorry, because I saw that and I wanted to correct that, but I was going to let you.
Nope. It is 100 questions I had. Yep.
The fee is $100. You know, it's you get a half hour with myself or my partner, and we will go over with you what your rights are. We schedule everything. So we make it very easy for you, and then we'll go ahead and go over your issue, tell you what we think based upon our knowledge and experience. And then if you decide to hire us, we'll go there, give you a plan, how we're going to tackle, so on and so forth.
Okay.
But it is $100 fee. But if you're in business, it is tax deductible. Not giving any tax advice, but just letting you know, if you have a business, it is tax deductible.
All right. Go ahead, girl. I'm just writing down notes so I can reiterate some of this stuff because this is all great information. I'm just going through the starred comments again. Looking at my comments, guys. All right. Sure. So Kali has two questions. So the one question she said is, let me put it up on the screen. Question: how do content creators copyright the videos, blogs, etc. that they produce on a daily basis?
So let's go there. So
let's go there.
Now the Digital Millennium DMCA and Copyright, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA. So it's a fairly new act. It's only been in existence for the past couple of years because of the problems people have been having on social media platforms with people stealing other people's content. One of the things that they did in their infinite wisdom is put in more of a section geared more towards content creators or smaller creators. So if you have, especially now that, with COVID, people are doing, virtual courses, so on and so forth. So copyrighting your material is not as expensive as trademarking. It's about $65 per piece. But you are able to do a series of content so long as they're related for that same $65. For instance, if you have a blog post, and I'm going to use travel because that's what I know, and I'm doing a travel going over Italy, and I do 10 different blog posts, one on Venice, one on Rome, one on Capri and the Amalfi Coast, and another one is how to travel, so on and so forth. I can put all of those 10 blog posts together and do one fee for it because it's all related and it's smaller content.
Right.
So it's making it more economical. Because before, if I would have to do each blog post, number one, they wouldn't qualify because they were too small. Right?
Yep.
But if they did qualify, doing 10 different blog posts, filing each one for copyright protection is very cost prohibitive. So that's $650.
Right.
So now, but with content creators, a lot of us are small business, a lot of us are solo businesses. So now they've made it more economical and you do it as a batch, which is amazing. Love it. For course creators, you would have to do it for, and content creators as well. Live streams, you still have to do each video separately. But if you do like what we're doing now would have to be, because it's already been posted out there to the world, separately. But if you copyright everything before you launch, then you can do your entire course up to 10 videos for $65.
Nice.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But the important part is the before you launch versus after you launch.
Yep.
Then that determines what you can do and what that pricing is. And it's all about just getting your files together and getting it to the office and paying the fee and helping the application, which is what my office does as well. So we do copywriting and trademarks as well. So now here's the thing though, and this is the newer part of the law, which I love. There is, because before if somebody infringed upon you, you would have to file in federal court legal action in order to get whatever damages are owed to you, which is cost prohibitive for smaller businesses, solopreneurs, content creators, so on and so forth. They've now enacted sort of like a tribunal. I have a fly in here and it's been driving me nuts.
It's all right.
So like a little tribunal, for lack of a better word, which is if the recovery is like $30,000 or $35,000 or less, that you can go to. It's a quicker process. It's more like mediation and trying to figure out the issue and getting it taken care of. It's cheap. It's a cheaper fee. You don't have to go to federal court, which takes a very long time. And again, it's also expensive. So they also have that option too. They're gearing up for it now. So it should be launched by the end of the year, if not the beginning of next year.
Gotcha.
So there's ways of doing it. So they're trying to make it so they're encouraging people to become copyrighted, because you can't do that unless you're copyrighted. You can't take advantage of these unless you're copyrighted. But you still have common law copyright rights where, again, you can send them a cease and desist and do the DMCA process through Facebook, YouTube, whatever platform they're using your information on.
So, and it's so funny. So here's again another example. So you spoke about travel, right? I'm just, because Kali's active and it's at the top of my head, and I know that she's really, really getting into the grind with her YouTube and things like that. So talking about with what you're saying, if it's all related, here's an example for those of you guys, because I'm just getting back into the grind of things. But for those of you guys, someone like Kali, that she's actively doing multiple posts on YouTube throughout the week. Kali, my idea for you is, right, like if you're doing, especially with the work that you do, I think it would be very beneficial with your stuff to get it copyrighted. Maybe plan it out and do like a playlist, right? So if it's going to be, so if the stretching, if the yoga work, and listen, don't get mad at me if I got it all wrong. But if you're doing a playlist and the playlist for the yoga is going to focus on, let's say, your shoulders, your neck, your head movement, right, your upper body, you can do, you said, Gigi, 10 up to 10 different pieces. Is that right? Right?
Yeah, it's up to 10. They have to be related. But the other part is you have to be careful with is whether or not they've been posted.
Right. So what I'm saying is, right, so Kali, for something like, now that you have this knowledge going forward, so when you're going to do a new set, if you're going to do new stretches, if you're going to do a new set, right, and you really want to make sure that you want to get copyrighted, plan it all out. Obviously, talk to Gigi, plan it all out, get it done, make sure it's related, and before you post it, get that copyright so that you can have them grouped in. Save yourself a couple of bucks, get that copyright done. And then once that's taken care of, boom, now you can schedule them out on YouTube and you're protected that way. Was that a good way to paraphrase it, Gigi? And
yes,
explain
perfect.
It?
Perfect.
All right, let's go back into some comments. Kali had a second question, so let me go back. Could you speak about the benefit of hiring a trademark attorney to register your trademark rather than doing it yourself or using a service like LegalZoom?
Sure. They're
Girl,
not me.
Why you ask that question? You know better than me.
They're not me.
You get what you pay for.
Right. That's exactly right.
You get what you pay for.
What you pay for. If you can use those services and you can do it yourself. And the thing about it is that trademark registration is very subjective depending upon the person who you get as an examiner. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm. And we as the attorneys complain a lot about the examiners and the inconsistent ways in which they look at these applications and apply the law to it. But it's very subjective. Yeah. So with that being said, and if they give you what they call as office action, which is a letter that says that there's something wrong with your application, now what do? Right. You did it yourself. Yep. Right. So you don't have anybody to go back to, and they're not going to help you because that's considered giving you legal advice, and they can't do that because you're not their client. Yep. They're adverse to you. So, and then did you do any of the pre-work? Did you find out whether or not you could be too close to somebody else's mark? Got you. Did you find out, where your mark, what industries your mark would be best suited for? Do you have a good example of you selling that product or service in the marketplace? Right. Those are all of the things that, and I'm just skimming the surface. I'm not getting deep into the weeds. Yep. That you as a layperson wouldn't know how to do. Right. That doesn't mean you can't be successful. Right. But, that's like me, what is it? Like that's like me trying to fix my car or do an oil change. I can go on YouTube and find out how to do an oil change. Right. But I'm not a mechanic. That's not what I do all day, every day. Right. So why am I going to sit here and try and do my oil change? And it's going to take me 3 days to do when I can pay someone $60 to do my oil change who can do it fast, quick, and know what they're doing. Right. Absolutely. Right. So I may have saved the money, but did I save the time? And are you saving the headache? And then, even with the, right? And so it goes back to, and I know Kali asked the question, obviously, really more so for the community and anybody that asks after the fact.
But it's also one of those things that it's like you may, perfect example, you may think, oh, this YouTube video, changing my oil, is very thorough, very simple, a couple of screws, lift the car up on a jack, we're good to go. But it's those, because I'm not certified as a mechanic, there are other things that may be connected to my engine and unscrewing that cap that I may not realize that may become a problem after the fact. And then I'm down the road, I'm going to work an hour and a half away to my corporate office, and I'm on I-95 right on the turnpike in New Jersey, and all of a sudden my car is like clack, 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 and it's like, what the hell? Right? It's
and you could have inadvertently caused more problems.
Correct.
Than what you went in there to solve.
Right. In the long run.
So exactly.
Absolutely.
And so that's doing it yourself. LegalZoom, let me explain to you. I do not compete with LegalZoom. Why? Because they're not attorneys. Oh. And so the people who you get at the other side of LegalZoom does not have the expertise. Yeah. They don't have the license. Yeah. They don't have anything that I have that I would provide to you. Are they cheaper? Depends.
Right.
It depends on what you're doing.
Right.
But all they'll do is say, here's the paperwork. So it's like them.
Do it on your own. Right.
You're still doing it on your own.
Right.
And if you have any questions, we can't help you because we don't give legal advice.
Right. Right.
You get what you pay for.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And then usually it may be a fraction, not a fraction, it's maybe half of the cost. But then at that point, so here's a perfect example, even with something like that. So just recently.
Wait, before you go into that, let me do another mic drop real quick. Ask yourself, if LegalZoom is all of that, why are they hiring an attorneys to do their trademarks, to do their business, to handle their side of things as far as their business is concerned?
Right.
So if they see a value in getting attorneys to help them navigate their business,
right,
but they're telling you at the same time that you don't need an attorney to do this, right. I need you to help me put those two together, because those 1 and 1 is not equal to.
Right.
Sorry.
No,
go ahead, India. Sorry about that.
No, that's perfect. No, that's absolute perfect. And what I was going to say was, right, so like I reached out to Gigi just last week. Or 2 weeks ago, we started planning today's session. But the other thing why I reached out to her was because for me, when you said LegalZoom, this what popped up. I want to, now that I have my house, right, and with my assets, because now having a home is having an asset, I have 2 different life insurance policies. I told Gigi, I said, listen, I need to create a trust. I'm thinking about creating a will. God forbid something happens to me. I need to have things in place for my life insurance policies as well as my home, and I have things that I want to do. Someone that wants to cut corners, I guess. And then listen, so what I will say, and I'm sure that you'll back me on this, any protection and having any plan in place is better than no plan in place.
Right.
That's first off.
That's very true. That's very
first
true.
Off. So if it means you having LegalZoom or not having anything, getting a trust or whatever it is, a trademark, because we're talking about a trademark, in LegalZoom versus having none, okay, go that route. However, for me, because that was a perfect thing, I know that I can get a will, a generic will and a generic trust, that they send me that form, and I can put my mom's name for the executor. I can put my little sister, right? My nieces and nephews. But because there are things that I want to talk to from a professional, that's an attorney, that's what they do, that I know, and just talking to her, and that's not what she can help me, but not in PA because she's not licensed, right? Mm-hmm, but correct. Just talking to her, she told me 1 or 2 things that didn't cross my mind because I'm not the professional. So I told her the gist of what I wanted to do. And based off of this is what she went to school for, this is her expertise, she can now provide much more sound, well-rounded advice and help me plan out things I even know I needed planned out, right? And so it's that piece of why you would want to pay a little bit more and get it done right. And then it's someone who also knows your story, because at that point, that attorney becomes your attorney throughout your business as you grow, right? So as you grow, if you need to do more trademarks as your business starts to flourish, or even if it's the other way around, they've been with you from X amount of point, and they can give you more personalized advice that's going to be more beneficial to you than someone from LegalZoom that you call today. You're going to speak to John. You call 3 hours later, you're going to speak to Joanna. You call, right? And nobody knows your story. And so for things like that, it's like, listen, save the money. Again, having some sort of a plan and protection is better than none. But if you can save the plan, the cost difference in the long run, go to an attorney, speak to someone like Glinnesa and get it done. Get it done.
Yeah, get it done.
Get her
but
done.
Yeah, but you also, what you explained there is when the cheap becomes expensive, right?
Right.
So, you can do it yourself. You can. There's nothing keeping you from doing that. You can utilize a service like LegalZoom. They have their place in the world. You know,
listen,
what I
if
mean?
you want a lease, if you need a lease, a landlord tenant lease, and you know that it's just whatever, right? Like something super, super simple and basic.
Still wouldn't use LegalZoom for that.
I don't know. But like you said, there's a piece, there's something there. I don't know, but
it's something, right? It is something. It is something.
Nothing. Right.
It is something. I totally get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, it's like, you will find that a lot of attorneys, first of all, will work with you. We understand that you're small business owners. We still got to live. We have to eat. We have mortgages. We have things that we need to do.
Yeah.
And then you also have to put in mind that our education doesn't end once we graduate law school and we pass the bar.
Right.
We have to keep our license up.
Yep.
That in New York is every 2 years.
Right. Yep.
And in places like Connecticut, they increase every year because they expect you to be making more each year you're out of law school, which is crazy to me. But I'm like, okay, Connecticut, that's why I'm not going to be licensed there. But, but you know what I mean? So each state rules are different.
Right.
But on top of that, we have student loans.
Right. Everybody just got those text messages and those emails talking about
your student loans about to start again.
January
we have
2022.
Right. But then on top of that, we have to take certain amount of classes in order to keep our knowledge fresh.
Right.
We don't know about new laws coming out without taking those classes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then technology and running your office. There's a lot that goes into being an attorney.
Absolutely.
And so we're not charging you because we're trying, there are some people trying to be fat cats and they do what they do. Yeah. But I know for my firm, we want to be able to pay our bills, to be able to take care of our families just like you do, but still be able to help people like you and Callie and Michelle and every other person out there who's trying to get their name out there. Right. Whether it be through YouTube, whether it be selling products or services, doing what, content creating, because they want to do the same thing we're doing, which is helping people be better, do better, get better. Right. And so when you see those fees, don't think that it's because, they're rich. No, there's a lot that goes into that. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot that we have to do in order to be able to provide this service to you. Yep. So we have to charge that. Yep. But
I totally get that.
We like to do flat fees. Reason why? Because flat fee, we've done this enough to know how much time it's going to take to do certain things. Yeah. And so and we're virtual. We're a virtual firm. Right. I run out of my home. He runs out of his. You know what I mean? Everything we do is virtual. So that reduces the overhead, which makes it a little bit more economical for some. Yeah. So we do things to help our clients, and we do work with you as far as payment plans. But don't be afraid to look to an attorney. Don't be afraid to look to us. We're here to help. Yeah. And we'd rather you pay now than you pay later.
Right. That's good. Go ahead, girl. So let me go back to Kevin. Kevin had a good question. Not necessarily trademarking, but in terms of advice, because I've seen this on Instagram all the time. He says, question, my lady has lost over 300 pounds. So many companies steal her photos to say she uses their products when she doesn't. How and what kind of an attorney should she get in touch with?
This happened to my line sister. She lost a whole lot of weight doing keto, and she has a huge following on Instagram.
Yep.
And they take her. They're not
all the time.
They are not like this stuff. Just again, it pisses me off.
Yeah,
they're ruthless with it.
Yep.
It's they're ruthless with it. And she's like, her husband's an attorney, so she called him, but she and I were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, it happens all the time. And then she has to do the DMCA takedown and all this other stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, yo. Yeah. It's crazy. But yes.
Yeah, Kevin said that his wife has over $135,000.
And congratulations to her. Followers. That's hard work.
Yeah, on
hard
Instagram.
Work.
Yeah. Multiple times per week. That's crazy. So Kev, you see in the comments, and I put it up on the screen. If you scroll up, Kali's put it a few times, but you can reach out to Gigi for a consult. There's her contact information. I know you came in a little bit later, and I did write it down because Post-its are life, Gigi. So for Gigi, there is a $100 consult fee for 30 minutes. It is tax deductible if you have a business, but we are not out here in these streets giving tax advice or actual legal advice. Just want to let you know, although I have an attorney on my show, this should not be considered legal advice. This should be deemed and considered for educational purposes only. Okay, was that good,
Thank
Gigi?
you.
That's good. Perfect. All right, that was good.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. He liked that. I like that too. Pay now or really pay later, right, Kev? Like that was like legit. Doing the legal work yourself is when the cheap becomes expensive. Said by yours truly, Gigi. It's true though. That is legit true, for real. And it's so funny. And I know, listen, that is straight fire as a disclaimer, right? It's so good. That is right. Like that should be like your tagline. Like back in the 80s and 90s, attorneys had like corny taglines. That can be your corny tagline. Right. Well, that can be your tagline. What is it? Pay now or really pay later. Right. And how they like really pay later. So listen, we still have 18 viewers. Everybody is loving it. This is amazing. Let me see. Let me go back to my notes. So pricing was one of them. We did go over that. We went over that. So in terms of, you did mention the time frame. You said if you have a lot of time, what's the time frame for copywriting, trademarking? Like, what does that look like?
So here's the thing about trademarks. People from other countries can come and ask for a U.S. trademark. If you are a foreign corporation and you do business here in the United States, you're able to ask for a trademark in the United States. So now couple that with all of the United States-based companies who want trademarks as well. So the United States Patent and Trademark Office is overwhelmed.
Well, I can imagine. Yeah.
So
and Evie mentioned that when she was on my show last week. I think she said it was like a year, 2 years or something to get some of her stuff, right? That's about right.
And that's if everything goes right. Right. That's if there's no issues. If there's no issues, it's taking about 15, 16 months from the time of application to the time that you're getting registered. And so give me 1 second. I'm going to turn around.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
When you're done, you get this handy dandy certificate.
Nice.
That says you are, you have a trademark.
Put it in the screen again. Let me see, because I just made you big. Go ahead and do that again.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. And that's your trademark. That's your personal. That's your travel, right?
My this is just the logo.
Gotcha. Nice.
For right now.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the words to come in.
Okay, cool.
But yeah. See, and now I can't put it back up there.
That's all right.
Because doing the most.
Because that's what happens. That's all right. That's what happens.
Gigi's doing the most with the least. Oh, nope, I got it. And it'll
got
fall
it
tomorrow. But be that as it may.
Yeah.
So you get that certificate, and that certificate is good for 5 years.
Yep.
So around year 4 is when you'll hear me knock on your door, knock, 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 knock. Hey, it's time to renew. Yeah. So long as you're still utilizing that trademark in commerce, you can renew it. And that's an easier process. You're not doing everything from scratch.
Gotcha. Because it already belongs to you. So the hard work is done up front. Correct.
Exactly.
Gotcha. The hard work is done up front. It already belongs to you. You just have to show and maintain it and do whatever renewals.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So, and the other part you need to know is that it is up to you to police your mark.
Yep.
So if someone is out there utilizing your mark, the United States Patent and Trademark Office is not going to tell you that. Right. You need to police it. That's why Disney has who they have.
Of attorneys. Right. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yep. And of course, Kali coming in clutch.
I love her. She's just doing amazing. All the things. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kali.
I love me some Kali. All right. Listen, you were ready to talk about so many other things, and this show just evolved and revolved.
No, I appreciate it because this is amazing.
Good stuff, right?
I did want to hit on some contracting for content creators, but if we don't have time, we can do. No,
I'm gonna have you back on because everybody loved it. So I will talk to you, and I think I liked how the show went. Of course, guys, let us know in the comments. Hit me up, send me messages. Let me know after the fact. You'll see, and I will edit the post with the description with Gigi's contact information so you can reach out to her directly. And is it okay for me to put $100 consult fee? Can I put that in the description?
Yes, that's totally fine. Right.
So I'll put that.
We do need to update the law firm to Gailliard Pichardo. My law partner is always looking for ways to snatch my edges. And let's prevent the edge snatching.
Right. No, I got you. So I'll update that. And then definitely, I think that this was a great conversation. And I know already our members of the community did express that they loved it. I'd love to have you back on to talk a little bit more about small businesses and then just the other legal advice from business owners. Now, I'm used to, so from a banker's perspective, it's like ingrained in me. They just say small business. So for me, that's what I'm used to. It's either commercial lending or small business lending. But from, a business perspective, an attorney, you can give your educational perspective, not legal advice, educational perspective on that and how you work with business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, things like that. So we'll definitely work on getting you back in.
Definitely.
Depending on your availability. And then, we'll kick it. We'll go from there. I'm going to wrap up. Everybody is loving it. So our Facebook friends says thanks so much. So they really enjoyed it. Kev says, Gigi, you seem super comfortable, and I knew this was your first live, and you would never know you had not shared that before. Hey, let's get it for the community. I appreciate it. You know how we roll. I love this community. Look at this. Dr. Elo said, first live like a pro. Look at them showing you love. That is what's up. So I will say, Gigi, all right, listen, y'all. So, I haven't been to Doc's class in a minute. So, Gigi and I had been communicating or whatever throughout the day. And I was on with her for a good maybe 20 minutes before we started the show. I didn't know that this was not your first live. And I would not have known that.
Live.
Like, I know me and you spoke, right? Like earlier in the year. And it's so funny. Like, I've been talking to Gigi, like literally earlier on in the year. Yep. So, and I know I remembered some things, but I didn't realize that this was your first live. So you absolutely killed it, honey.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Super happy. The community. Yeah, Kali, was cracking. Gary, thank you so much for the support. Gary appreciated it. Mr. Camera Junkie, Luis, saying fire, he loved it. Yeah, girl, you killed it.
Love it. Thank you.
Cracking. So we will definitely have you back on again. We'll talk some more stuff. Yes, Paul says great. Thanks for the great info. It was great. I had a really good time. We did keep it really like on brand. You kept me on track because I pulled out, listen, for you, I pulled out Post-it notes and I was like, I can't interrupt her, but I need to ask these questions. I want to, oh my God, how do I get my thoughts?
Well, no, and the thing about it is we didn't come in here and do what we usually do because usually we're cracking jokes.
Right.
Or there's me in the comments.
Right. Y'all be seeing, I'm blaming y'all. Look, let today show.
They came with some fire questions. I'm not.
But my distractions, I'm blaming on y'all. Let today show that I can be a good host and I can ask questions and I can be serious and keep it on brand and on point. All right, y'all? Come on, let's get it. All right. Any last parting things you would like to say, my friend?
Be safe out in these internet streets.
Be safe in these internet streets.
Protect your neck.
You better check your neck. You better check your neck.
Watch
your step, kid.
Reference.
Watch your step, kid. Listen.
I'm a New Yorker till I die.
Right,
so.
come on, baby. See, we were just talking about you guys keeping me, Gigi, you kept me good all the time. All right. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. You guys always come through. You guys are always amazing, showing support, being active in the comments, having really great questions today, being super supportive. So much love to all of you guys in the community. Gigi, much love to you. You got to get me names of those attorneys though. And I thought about it.
Yes.
Or
I sent it out there. Let me go back and check. Let me go back and check, and then I'll get them to you.
Yep. Yeah. And then I will see you guys next week, Saturday. I'm keeping the show time at 9:00 because it just works better for me. So I will see y'all next week.
Now,
Saturday.
you know, a lot of us are going to be at the People of Live event. We might be slightly inebriated.
Yeah.
But that may make for a fun show.
It may make for a fun show. That is true. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Let's do some outro music that Gigi did remind me that this is something that I made myself. So I should consider.
These things.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I was like, I don't have that talent. Love it.
You know. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I will talk to y'all later.
Good night, everyone.
Peace out, y'all. Good night.